coming. You see, we were thinking of having this meeting for some time, and I was in India for 3 months. I was not really keeping up with all the things what is happening here. After I came here, they said, all the people who opposed CAA, they had already met 2-3 times, and so nobody actually has done anything in support of CAA. So J.S. Thakur was the one who suggested that I should organize. So I heeded his word. If you are interested in anything that you want to organize, please feel free to just contact us and we will try to arrange it. We will organize it. So because this is an important thing, Hindu survival is at stake back in India. As I mentioned, even though everybody talked about CAA, so I'm not going to discuss about what are the conditions and what not. Of course, many of you probably have seen, this is the Gazette of India. This is where exactly the whole the CAA, all the conditions, benefits, whatnot. Every country has a culture. Muslims have their culture, Hindus have our culture, Christians have their culture. We all have to figure out where we stand in order to protect, preserve, propagate our religion. If we do not take seriously, if we do not do something here to make some difference back in India, we will be failing in our responsibility to be a Hindu. In olden days, our parents, grandparents probably did not know the relevance of it. And at that time, the situation was different. Now, there is no secret. Muslims have been saying ever since independence. So that was the biggest mistake that India has made. It was divided based on religion. All the Hindus are supposed to be here in India. All the Muslims are supposed to be in Pakistan. Even now, we really have to think through and see how far can we keep them in India, these Muslims. It may be far-fetching, but if you think through and see whether there will be any Hindu identity in the after 20 years or 30 years or 40 years, we know there won't be any such identity if the things go the way they are going today. It was divided based on religion. Why don't we implement it? That was the reason it was divided. Then why the Muslims should be here? Ambedkar said at the time of independence, 1947, if you keep even a handful of Muslims in India, you are going to face exactly the same situation that you have faced in 1947. That is exactly what we are facing today. As I said, every country has its culture. Every country has its rights to decide as to who should be the citizen, who should not be the citizen. As I mentioned, of course, Jayesh Bhai mentioned and Ashokji mentioned Lautenberg Amendment 1990. So they made a special provision to see that all the Jewish people will come from Soviet Union to United States. And a few weeks ago, UK, like Australia, developed a policy to allow individuals with skills and those who will not burden the welfare system. So that means they have to have skills and they should not be burdened for the welfare system. So they don't have to mention anything about any religion. They know exactly what they are saying. I think we also have to come up with similar policy as to how we can control this inflow. And then they also said they should be familiar with English language. That is the condition the British government has passed probably 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. They are realizing the Europe they are losing, and they have to figure out how to recover their identity. And Israel facilitated the entry of packed plane of Jewish people from Ethiopia. Only Ethiopia. Only Jews. No other person. So they have the right to do what they want to do. India also has the right to do exactly what is it India wants to do. Who should be there? Whether it is there, only whatever religious people we want. Hungary has considerably, actually it is very, very interesting, this one. What they have done, they refused the refugees from Iran, Syria and North Africa, because they said, look at this word. They said, these people should not fit into our culture. Hungary, they decided they don't want any of these people from these countries because they don't fit into their culture. So there are so many countries who are doing something like that one, and why we have to be afraid of doing it. These demonstrations, we know they are going on. I think the best thing would be just decide what is it Narendra Modi ji wants to do. Uniform Civil Code, family planning, whatever it is. Just pass all of them in one night. Let them do whatever they want to bark. Let them bark for 1 year, 2 years. Because you see, the phase-wise, you are going to have these demonstrations continuously. Once you decide these are the agenda, this is the agenda, let's go ahead and take care of it, because we have the majority in both the houses. So let's make sure. So we will probably write a letter to Modi ji to say that he will do away with everything, whatever he wants it to do. So basically, my point is there is a potential danger. The Muslims, they have been saying India is the unfinished business. India is the unfinished business. So that means that is what they want to do. They want to make it a Muslim country. And they have been trying. The only thing they have not done so far, the way they have done 10 centuries, the butchering and all that, only at a small scale. But I think we have to figure out, and we have to see what we need to do. And with that one, so I'm just hoping, with all the richness of our culture, with all the scientific advances that our country has made, even before any other country even born, our sages, Valmiki and all these rishis, all the scientific things, from zero to infinity, everything, whatever you want to call it. Mark Twain went to India and then he said one sentence: there is not a single thing under the sun that has not been addressed by Hindu rishis. Not a single thing. Everything is done by our rishis. So the Christians developed the Christianity for the sheep, that only for the shepherds. Muslims, Islam developed for the desert people. Hinduism is for the intellectuals, for the spiritual people, for the achievers. But we should not forego that particular ideology, and we should not forget about our richness, the greatness and the grandeur of our culture. We should be the ambassadors for our culture, ambassadors for our future, and we should train our children and make sure they take pride in what we have. They take pride only when we teach them, only when we introduce them to the richness of culture. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate all of you. in a short notice for coming and supporting this CAA because we have to have it. Vivekananda said Hinduism will go back to India from the United States. The only way we can do it, we have to shame the people back in India saying we are doing here, we are protecting the culture here, we are preserving it, we are going to be ambassadors for our Hinduism. Jai Guru Datta, Sri Guru.
Thank you, Prakasa Garu.